Turks and Caicos is made up of about 40 islands, but primarily there are 8 main islands that are inhabited. They divide into 2 sets of islands. The Turks Islands, which comprises 2 islands, Gran, Turks and Salt Cay, and the other islands which come under the Caicos Islands. And we visited Providenciales, which is the capital of Turks and Caicos and is an island in the Caicos Islands. Turks and Caicos is a self-governing country, but it's also a British overseas territory. And it's interesting because it has strong ties with the US, and I suspect they stem from a lesser known fact, which is that Turks and Caicos used to be a major supplier of salt in the 18th and 19th century, and primarily to Canada and the US. Anyway, Turks and Caicos uses the US dollar, which makes life very easy for the American tourist visiting Turks and Caicos. Providenciales, locally known as Provo, is for me the epitome of simplicity, elegance and exclusivity. And I would add equality. I say that because across all of Turks and Caicos, the beaches are public, accessible to tourists and locals no matter where you're staying. And of course, Turks and Caicos boasts beautiful private resorts and private villas, but nonetheless, the beaches are accessible to all. Grace Bay Beach is probably one of the most splendid beaches in the world. In fact, it was called the best beach in 2022, but I think it's certainly a favourite of mine of all the beaches I've ever been to. You have access to 7 to 12 miles of beach that you can walk, depending on the direction you go in and where you start from. But either way, whatever you choose, I highly recommend walking along the beach. Of course, Turks and Caicos is renowned for its beaches, these pristine white sands and absolutely tranquil turquoise, almost transparent waters. So it's just very relaxing to just walk along the beach, perhaps not at the height of the sun in the middle of the day, but any other time it's a really lovely walk to do. You'd be forgiven for thinking that all Turks and Caicos has to offer is beaches, because I presume that is mostly what Turks and Caicos is famous for, but it is the opportunity to so much more, especially if you are interested in biodiversity and ecology and sustainability and all these things, because Turks and Caicos is home to the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world. You can access it as we did with a glass-bottom boat and see the sea turtles, and possibly there's sightings of dolphins and so on. You can also snorkel, and there's a number of vantage points which you can find out about, which are really good for snorkeling. And of course, you have the opportunity to scuba dive. So I highly recommend taking advantage of the opportunities to see this incredible reef. Alternatively, if you want to stay land-based, then I recommend hiring a bike. We hired bikes and we went again westward, and you can go along the lower bike road. It's mostly fairly flat, and you have lots of access points to the beach. So if you're not really feeling it that you want to walk lengthily along the beach, you can access the beach at many points. So that's an alternative. And of course, you can hire a car. We did not do that, but I would hire a car in Turks and Caicos. Taxis are expensive, but I think it would be an advantage to have a car so that you can go and see these beaches at your leisure. There is an alternative to the taxi. There's a minicab type taxi which you share with others, which is a lot cheaper. But of course, that's just, you've got to time it. You've got to time it and know where it's going to stop. So, but it's still there, so it's still worth looking into. If you're interested in whales, then the best locations for sighting whales are Gran Turks and Salt Cay. You would need to think about going there between January through April, because that would be the best time to have a chance of seeing the whales. And I believe it's primarily the humpback whale that you would see. While we're talking about nature and animals, I think it's worth talking to you about the iguana. I think you've picked up on the fact that I have become fairly obsessed with iguanas, having seen them in Puerto Rico and the Bahamas. I didn't get to see them in Turks and Caicos, but if you go to Half Moon Bay, you will see them hiding out in the dunes there. So it's called a rock iguana, and it's a kind of green, perhaps not as vibrant a green as the one in Puerto Rico, but another animal for you to seek out. Another lesser known fact that you might not know about Turks and Caicos is it's the only country to have a commercial conch farm. And up until 2017, you could visit it. And although you can't do that, you can still taste the queen conch, which is a speciality in the region and which the commercial farm is renowned for. And in fact, trying conch in all its numerous forms is a real opportunity in Turks and Caicos. And I will admit, it is not something I have ever done. I'm not really good with seafood, but it is certainly a delicacy that people talk about. I could give you endless recommendations of where to eat in Turks and Caicos, and I would say they're all pretty excellent. So rather than give you a list, I'm just going to say, do your research, have a look, and choose what appeals to you the most. I'd like to share with you my 3 personal recommendations for when you want to snack during the day. So firstly, for brunch, breakfast, or any point in the day, go to Tribe. However, I would say go earlier in the day where possible to be sure that you will get the full range of the bakery. It's an excellent choice. You can take away, you can sit down. It's right in the heart of Grace Bay. Also, if you're into ice cream, go to Island Scoop, which is just a short walk across the road from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. It does the most incredible flavors and they're all homemade. It's really worth seeking out. If you would like to watch the sunset over the sea, I recommend you go to the cocktail bar at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. They do the most incredible cocktails there, and the service is lovely, they're chatty, they're friendly, and the sunsets are beautiful if you're fortunate enough to see a sunset that's not shrouded in cloud. If you are self-catering in Turks and Caicos, then you have a good selection of possible supermarkets to go to. And also in Grace Bay, there is the Graceway Gourmet. It's a really excellent choice also for some bakeries, but for many other types of things that just you might want to pick up a snack or a sandwich during the day or make a meal in the evening. It's an excellent choice. I would like to end by repeating my point about going to the beaches, because I think overall when I reflect on my time, the stunning beaches, even though you could almost argue surely they're similar, but they're really not. And there's something unique about each one, and there's just an idyllic quality to being in Turks and Caicos. I think one of the things that's so special about the beaches that I saw in Providenciales is how clean they are. Obviously, I mentioned the pristine sands, but they are clean from a human perspective. There's no waste. I literally saw no rubbish or garbage or anything lying anywhere. And I really acknowledge the locals for that and admire the tourists, because maybe that's a quality that makes it so special. And I never saw anybody cleaning the beaches. I dare say they do, but it was quite remarkable that they are as beautiful and clean as they are. And there's one thing that I hope you get to see when you visit Turks and Caicos. There's a phenomena that's quite common in that region. So you might be as lucky as we were to see a 22-degree halo accompanied by a 46-degree halo. And what that looks like, in effect, a rainbow, a circular rainbow around the sun. And it's absolutely mesmerizing. We didn't see a full second circle, the 46. We saw a partial, but the 22-degree circle was full. And honestly, it's incredible. So I wish for you that you get to see that. And we saw that from Grace Bay Beach. So I hope that you get to go there and enjoy and appreciate its stunning, beautiful, mesmerizing scenery and enjoy the biodiversity that Turks and Caicos seem really keen to share with us. I think there's a burgeoning tourist industry that focuses on the preservation of the barrier reef and so on. So we can contribute to keeping that thriving. So yeah, I just really love it. And I hope that you would love it too. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. Take care.